There we go.
So, good afternoon. So, my name's Manda. I'm the mortgage coach, and today is going to be an interview with Joshua. So, Joshua, would you like to sort of introduce yourself? Obviously, I know a lot about what you do, but to tell the audience what you do.
Yes. So yeah, my name is Joshua and I'm a finance coach. I essentially try to help people, better understand money. And I particularly focus on credit, taxes, and just business setup, helping people understand what they're doing and where to start and how to just, make sense of their financial situation.
Okay, brilliant. And why did you sort of decide to do this, in your profession?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I used to do accountancy for like 5 to 7 years. And I didn't know, but I figured out or found out that I didn't actually get any education for myself about personal finances. So I thought to myself, if I did accounting and finance for all this time and no one taught me about my own money, how to manage it for myself, then I thought that means that no one has learned about, finances, about money. And if that's the case, then something is not right. So I thought, you know what, let me take the risk. Let me try to, first of all, educate myself and then teach others how to do the same.
Yeah, no,
And that
that's
gave birth
good.
to what I've started here.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I can hear the passion in your voice about it. I mean, it is so important to have financial literacy. No, I'm definitely an advocate for that as well. No,
Yeah.
that's cool. So I did put it out there to get a few questions from some of my audience, and these are the questions that I've got. So
Yeah.
I'll just run them by you, and if you want to sort of give your answers, that would be great.
Mhm.
So one of them has said, I get this different variations of this
Mm.
question all the time, to be
Yeah.
honest. And so the question is, I have an excellent credit score with Experian, but I keep on getting rejected for credit. What should I do?
Good question. So again, it all goes down to like knowing, first of all, that your credit report is more important than your credit score. And of
Hmm.
course, most people focus on the score. So you could literally have a 999 with Experian, but still get rejected for a credit card or a loan, for example. And one of the first things you want to know again is that your report is more important than your score. So what that means is you can have a 999, but if there's an error on your report and you then go and apply for credit, and usually all of these applications are automated, if you now apply for credit and your name is not correct or consistent across your credit report, it could unfortunately result in an automatic no. So one of the first things you want to do is first of all know that your credit report is one point in your credit score. You first of all want to review your credit report so you can download it by first of all getting your Experian credit report, Equifax credit report, and your TransUnion credit report. Do the homework yourself of reviewing every single page, make sure that there's no errors. Once you've seen that there's no errors, or if there is an error, of course, pick it up, whether you contact the lender or the actual credit company themselves, that's where you want to start. And if there are no errors, but you're still getting rejected, then it's just about maybe trying another card and just seeing what can go through. But usually it's always about checking the report first and making sure that there's no errors at all.
Yeah, I mean, would you recommend Check My File? Because I tend to use that for my clients because it's the multi-agency report rather than doing the
Yeah.
three separate ones. What would you think about that?
Yeah, yeah. So check my file will definitely save time. Yeah, so definitely do check my file will save you time. It gives you like a summary of everything altogether. I even recently logged in today and I think they've changed quite a lot. So they've done even more to make it easier for people. So you can definitely make use of check my file, check your credit report across all three agencies. And then from there, if there's any errors again, you can just make sure that you contact the right credit reference agency for yourself, and then you should be fine going forward.
Okay, great. And another thing is, I mean, I have a lot of mortgage clients and they've
Mm,
literally never had a credit card before.
yeah.
I mean, what would you say? Are credit cards good or bad for your credit, in your
Yeah.
opinion?
Yeah, so it definitely depends. If you get a credit card and don't use it well, then of course it won't be good for you as an individual. But if you get a credit card and use it well, then of course it's only gonna improve your credit profile. And the main reason why getting a credit card is important, even if most people have heard negative stuff, they have negative connotations towards credit cards. But with credit, it's all about, can you be trusted by banks or lenders? Is there any history showing that you've borrowed before and repaid on time? So if, for example, you've got current accounts only and you've never borrowed, for example, you've never used the overdraft, you've got no loans ever, and you now go and apply for a mortgage. Imagine if you've never borrowed £10 and you want to now borrow £200,000, it's like, can we trust you though? Can you really be trusted with such a big
Yeah,
amount of money?
exactly.
You can't even deal with £10. So getting a credit card, and usually you're going to be usually it will be one of the credit card builders that you want to start with, like a Capital One, one of those basic credit cards. just start off by opening one of those, ensure that you are approved, of course, and do the base of checking your report, make sure that there's no errors. Once you get that card to start off with, and you use it, pay it back in time, use it, pay it back in time, this will start to improve your credit score. And then from there, once the banks and lenders can see that you can be responsible with a credit card, it's much easier to then get a mortgage or a loan, for example. So yeah,
Yeah,
credit
no.
cards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, absolutely. I completely agree. I mean, at the end of the day, it is really good to, if you can, to pay off your credit cards in full.
yeah, full,
But
so important.
what about credit utilization?
That's a really big one as well. So a credit utilization. So it's first of all even knowing that with a credit card, all the money is not yours. It's not free money. You're borrowing money that you want to, of course, pay back. So your utilization will show you what your reported balance is versus your limit. Say, for example, your limit is £2,000 and your reported balance is £1,000, then that's a bit too high. Ideally, you want to make sure that your utilization is always low every single month. And the key thing is knowing that it's not necessarily your balance every single day that gets that's going to be, assessed according to your utilization score. It's your reported balance versus your credit limit. So just to keep things simple, if you can keep your utilization around 20% of your limit, so if it's £2,000, keep it at about whatever a fifth of that is, maybe like £400 every single month, then you will be fine. If you're very new to this, you're probably gonna have a low limit anyway. So if you've got like £500 as a limit, for example, then just spending about £50 a month and make sure you pay off in full every single month will be very good for your credit. And your utilization score will not be too high. Again, if it's over 20%, if it's like 50%, 70%, if you're maxing out the credit card, doesn't look good. Ideally, keep it low, and your score will be much better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of lenders when I'm doing mortgage applications, the
Mm.
rule is 30%, but you saying 20, that's even better.
It's better, it's better, it's better. Just because if you also don't want to give people, well, you do, but obviously it is 30, 20 between 20 and 30. Obviously, different banks and lenders have their own criteria. But just giving people like the safest number to play with, so that if anyone's like, oh, I just want to play with 21%, it's like, okay, cool, you did it, but at least you're not in 31 or 35, and you're just like, ruining your chances of getting a mortgage for yourself. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, absolutely. And 20%, as you say, is a lot easier to manage. So no,
yeah,
that makes complete sense.
yeah.
So, and their final question that I
Mm.
received is, so they've said that they pay off their credit card in full every month, but their credit score isn't improving. What should they do?
Yes. Yeah, so this is an interesting one. So one thing that's interesting, and particularly to do with your utilization factor, is that it doesn't necessarily look at your balance every single day. It's your reported balance. So one thing that can happen is because a lot of people do this, some people, they use a credit card and they pay off in full immediately. Sometimes if a £0 balance is reporting on your credit report every single month, it looks as though you're not using your credit. So if, for example, your score was a 700 with Experian, and you are using a credit card, but you're paying off in full literally within a day, and it's not being reported, it looks as though every single month you have a 0% utilization, 0% utilization, 0% utilization. What's funny is that when it comes to utilization factor, they want to at least see like, let's say between 2% to 20%. 30% is the max, but let's say 2 to 20% at least. So what that means is what's the best practice is to use your credit card for sure, set up a direct debit to clear the balance in full to ensure that it's actually going to be reported to all the credit companies rather than having a £0 balance report on your credit score, on your credit report, sorry, every single month. And that's one thing it's a little thing, but it's something that can actually affect people's credit score. So yeah,
I know that's great. Thanks for answering all those questions.
no
And then
worries.
I know that you've also got a book that you've got
Yes.
out. Would you like to tell the audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, I recently released a brand new ebook. It's called the Personal Credit Report Cleaning Guide. And I definitely designed it and created it because I know a lot of people have negative markers on their credit. So this book goes through like if you, for example, you've got a late payment, a default, or a CCJ, the steps you need to follow to ensure that you can get these things removed, or at best, just to ensure that you can at least add a note to your credit and improve your chances of being approved for credit when you go on your next chances. And I always say most people don't end up improving their credit because they actually never try. And if you don't try, then you never know what's out there and what's available. So I always recommend like making sure that you're, getting good advice, getting educated, and then from there, seeing what you can do and improve your chances of getting, for example, a good mortgage or a good loan, rather than settling for like, terrible rates or terms where, if, for example, you've got a poor credit score or credit ratings, and then you go for a mortgage, comparing that to what you will get on an excellent score, you're going to save so much money if you do the hard work in the beginning and then go for these big amounts of money. So yeah,
Okay.
hopefully that ebook will help a lot of people.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been really, really knowledgeable. You
Yeah.
certainly know your stuff. So apart from the ebook, is there any other services that you offer?
Yes, yes, yes. So I've created a school community where we more so focus on like, mindset and finances in general, but we definitely focus on credit and business stuff and all that other stuff. But yeah, I've got a school community. We get together, we have weekly calls. We have, what else do we have? All sorts of things. Just everything where people get together, learn more about finances, but ideally get the right mindset to manage their money better. Because I always say it's not necessarily about if you win £1 million tomorrow, that necessarily won't change your behavior towards money. You want to know, first of all, how to use money well, get the right mindset, and then go for all the money you need to go for in order to, enjoy your life. So yeah,
Yeah,
school
that's a
community.
really, really good point, actually, because you hear about these people that won 1 million and
Yeah,
within a year they're broke again
honestly,
because they never
yeah,
had the right mindset, the right money habits, and,
yeah,
and things like that. So, no, that's really important.
yeah,
So, I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of the audience that are going to want to reach out and contact you. We can put your contact details in the chat, but I mean,
yeah.
do you know them?
Oh yes, yes, yes. So I'm mainly on Instagram. It's finance by Kilolu.
Mhm.
Finance by KILOLU. If you follow me there, you'll be able to see all my handles and bios and just yeah, connect with me that way.
Okay, brilliant. And as I said, we'll put all of that in the description. Thank you so much for your time. I really,
No
really
worries.
appreciate it. It's
It
been
was
really, really good.
yeah, it was good.